Hi guys, welcome back to my channel ArtsyPutsy with me Putsy, and for today's video it's going to be another foundation review, and this time I'm going to review the JCAT AQUASURANCE Compact Foundation, this one right here. And if you want to see my first impression, review and wear test, then just keep on watching. So I know this video is supposed to go up like 2 or 3 weeks ago in my finding foundation week, but something happened and here I am a few weeks late, but better late than never. That's my #1 motto here on my channel. So this one right here, it's a mouthful. It's very hard to pronounce for me. It's the JCAT AQUASURANCE Compact Foundation, and I'm in the shade Soft Tan, and the packaging is like this. And let's open this up for a second. And the inside is like this. It's a compact foundation, obviously. It retails for $13.99 for 9 grams of products, and this is made in South Korea. The price itself, it's not very affordable compared to some other foundation from the drugstore, but I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's still pretty affordable. It's a little bit big in my opinion, but it's not heavy whatsoever. Packaging itself is made out of plastic, and it's quite a cheap plastic, but I mean, it's a very affordable product, so I'm not mad at that. We have a mirror on the inside. This is the product right here, and we can open this up and we get a sponge, and you can change this up if you have finished them. I think that's the reason why they have this thing, but I don't know if they have the refill on their website. I don't know. So first I'm going to try to peel off the mirror, which is quite hard to do, but okay. So satisfying. If you don't know what JCAT is, it's a very affordable brand. You can get them at their own website, jcatbeauty.com, or you can also get them at Ulta, I believe. They have quite a lot of amazing products for such an amazing affordable price, and from what I've seen, a lot of their products are pretty good. I haven't tried any of other JCAT products. Wait, I think I have. Do I? Yeah, I have tried their glitter, I believe, and the glitter is beautiful as well, so I'm pretty intrigued to try out any other JCAT product, but for now, this is all I have. And let me just read the claim here on the back and also on the website. The one thing that really intrigued me is the name. It's AQUASURANCE Compact Foundation. Like, I imagine this to feel very lightweight, almost like water, and it looks flawless. I don't know. This is a compact foundation, an innovative hydrating powder foundation that covers imperfections and evens out the skin tone. Weightless, finely milled formula that minimizes the appearance of pores and improves complexion. Non-clogging powder that absorbs and balances excess oil without looking cakey, blends effortlessly and applies evenly for a flawless finish. Really intrigued me as well because I have very oily skin, and also as you can see, I have very large pores. I have a lot of deep-pitted acne scars. I have a lot of redness and dark pigmentation, lots of acne scars and textures. So those two things are exactly what I need. And then it's innovative technology with water lock system to maintain moisture within the powder, and it's also will provide medium to full coverage for a natural, flawless complexion. It can be used wet or dry. You can apply this with the sponge applicator provided. If you want a medium to full coverage, you can apply this damp and use the sponge applicator. And the sponge applicator provided will apply AQUASURANCE Compact Foundation flawlessly and avoid looking cakey. Maybe I should use the sponge, I don't know. They currently only have 8 shades, but I mean, that's pretty basic for drugstore brand. But honestly, the 8 color that they have here is not very inclusive because, okay, let me show you the color. They don't have the color that will match a very fair skin tone, and they don't have a very deep skin tone as well, so it can only cater for those of you who have a light skin tone to medium deep skin tone. Here you can see color is not that good. I think they can change 1 or 2 shades here in the middle, because medium beige and soft tan look a little bit similar, just a different undertone. Golden beige and honey also look similar. Ivory is pretty light, but I still don't know if it can match for those of you who have very fair skin tone, and the deeper skin tone that I have is very red. So yeah, the shade range is not that great. It contains cactus flower extract, which is an antioxidant property that helps maintain moisture of the skin. It also contains chamomile, which is an anti-inflammatory and calm the skin. That sounds amazing for me personally, because I have a lot of redness, acne scars. And it also has chlorella. It will improve production of the skin's collagen, which helps with skin's firmness and tone. I love collagen for my skin. Okay, the benefit itself sounded amazing. How to use? They suggest you to prep your skin with JCAT Beauty H2O Fresh Dewy Hydrating Face Primer. I never apply any primer for foundation review because, like I said time and time before, I think primer is very tricky with trying out foundation for the first time, because if you use the right primer, it will improve the performance of the foundation, but if you use the wrong primer, it will disturb the actual potential of the foundation. So which is why I rarely apply primer for foundation first impression, and I also won't apply any setting spray, but I already apply my usual skincare routine, which is the ordinary alpha-arbutin, and also apply some sunscreen. And they also suggest us to apply them with a swiping motion, and it also can be used wet or dry, like I said before. So I'm just going to try to swipe the product with the sponge and then the beauty blender and then a brush. Okay, let's try with hand first. Okay, this doesn't feel dry whatsoever. It also doesn't feel very moisturizing, but it's not like your typical powder, but it's also quite powdery. I don't know if you can see that. It's very powdery, but it doesn't feel dry at all. But unless you do this, it's quite powdery. I don't think if the color will match me. It looks a little bit lighter for me at the moment, because but it matches my chest, so I don't know. That's how it looked like with my finger, and then this is with a sponge. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, there you go. It looks a little bit powdery and looks a little bit sheer if you apply them with a dry sponge. Let's try with a damp beauty blender. And there you go. I think it has pretty much better coverage than a dry sponge. It's pretty much non-existent, but you can see a little bit of the foundation there. Then this is with a brush. It also looks very sheer with the brush. So like always, I'm going to apply half of my face with a damp beauty blender, and then half of my other face with my other face, and the other half of my face with a brush. But if it applied kind of horribly with a brush, then I will change the brush and apply them with the actual sponge that we got from this product. So let's apply them to the right side of my face first. Actually, apply them with the damp beauty blender kind of darken the color a little bit, because as you can see when I swatch them with my finger here, it looks pretty light, but now it looks a little bit darker. Yeah, the color is definitely changing, and it turned out to be a little bit too dark for me. I mean, as you can see, but it has a pretty good coverage. It's a medium coverage in my opinion. And by the way, if you want to know my shade in other foundation, just check out the description box down below. If I'm going to list every single foundation shade I have tried so far. So that's how it looks like with the damp beauty blender. I'm going to try to build them up a little bit because it didn't cover a lot. I think it looks a little bit better now. I mean the coverage, I think it has a pretty good medium coverage, but you can build them up until like medium to full coverage, but I don't think you can get a full coverage, especially if you have a lot to cover up, like a lot of redness and dark pigmentation. And I already have a few opinions about this product, but let me finish the rest of my face first before I form my full opinion. And let's just try with a brush on this side. By the way, this is the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. Yeah, the powder flies away everywhere if you use the brush, and it's very light coverage. I mean, as you can see the difference of the coverage here. This is with the damp beauty blender, as you can see. And you can see the finish of this. It looks more like foundation, and this one looks pretty much just like my skin. I don't know if you can tell from camera, but this side looks lighter coverage and the shade itself looks a little bit dark, a little bit lighter. I mean, I really don't think this product meant to be applied with the brush, so I'm just going to apply them this side with this sponge that was provided for us and just apply them dry. Yeah. Let's try with a swiping motion. So it's now currently 11:14, but when I first applied them it was around 11. And I already have a few opinions about this product. And first of all, let me just say the color is really off, like way off. It's way too dark for me. I mean, look at my neck. So in my opinion, I suggest you don't trust the swatches from the website and get one shade lighter. I mean, they don't have a lot of different shades, but just get something a little bit lighter. When I first applied them, especially when you apply them wet, it really changes the color. But that's not the only difference within this side and this side. Let's start with the damp beauty blender first. The coverage, it provides way better coverage, more fuller coverage than applied dry. The dampness of the sponge kind of melt the product a lot better to the skin, which is why we get a lot better coverage, and it actually looks like foundation, but it still looks pretty natural. Especially if you compare them with the cream foundation, it looks way more natural. It doesn't look cakey whatsoever, doesn't look too dry, but you can still see that you have something on your face. It looks really smooth. If you apply them wet, it kind of looks like, I don't know, it looks a little bit more glowing and not as matte at this side. And if you apply them dry, it provides a light to medium coverage. You can build them up a little bit, but that's the thing I noticed with this product, that you can build them up, but it's not gonna make a huge difference. The coverage will improve just a tiny bit. The color looks a little bit lighter if you apply them dry, and the finish, for some reason, even though I like the coverage in this side a little bit better, but I like the finish of this side a lot more. I don't know if it's because I applied them dry, or maybe it's just because of the actual sponge that was provided, and it actually works way better for the product itself. But I really like the finish of this side a lot more. It looks way more natural. It doesn't look cakey whatsoever. I mean, this side already looks pretty much like skin, but this side looks really like my skin, but better. It just even out your skin tone, especially if you don't have a lot of imperfections on your skin, if you don't have a lot of redness, scars, dark pigmentation. Really good for day-to-day basis, and it does feels very lightweight. I don't feel like I have anything on my face. It's pretty much look and feels like your skin, but better. And it also doesn't feel tacky whatsoever on both sides. It doesn't look dry whatsoever. But even though it doesn't look dry on my face, but if you have dry patches, it will emphasize them really bad, because I have quite a lot of dry patches around my nose, especially around here, but usually around my actual nose here. Around my nose, it looks very dry, and it emphasizes the dry patches that I don't even think I have, and it really emphasizes them. And it also looks dry with both application, this side and this side. Both of them really emphasize the dry patches around my nose, but that's the only problems I have around my nose. But around my most problematic area, which is my cheek, where I have a lot of deep acne scars, it looks pretty good. It covers them up really nicely without emphasizing the textures and the scars in a weird or bad way. It sits really nice on top of my forehead. It looks really good on my chin. The only problems that I have is around my nose. If I want to have a full makeup on, I will obviously choose this side, but for day-to-day basis, if I just want to go out the door really quick, you know, just very basic natural makeup, I will choose this side right here, because it looks way more like skin. And like I said, maybe it's because of the sponge, and I will definitely try to apply this product again with the sponge but damp, because it really intrigues me. The sponge applied the product really beautifully, and it also maybe because the way I applied them, I follow the instructions that they have on their website, which is apply them with a swiping motion rather than a tapping motion, because when I first apply them with a tapping motion, it looks a little bit more like powder, but when I apply them with a swiping motion, it really makes the product more like skin and melt into the skin a lot better. So maybe it's a combination between the product, the sponge, and the way I apply them. Just follow the instructions, I guess. But for now, I will give this foundation a really good score because I really love it, and it looks very natural even though, and it's just a very good product for day-to-day basis in my opinion. So the only thing I hate is the nose area and the color, but other than that, we're off to a really good start here. But I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup first, and I'm going to be back to give you a little bit of thoughts about how other makeup products applied on top of this. And yeah, I'm going to be back in a few seconds. So I'm so sorry, it's currently raining, but I have finished up the rest of my makeup. And everything I put on top of this, the blush, the bronzer, I only applied a very light hand with everything. I don't apply too much, but everything I put on top of the foundation itself performs beautifully, blends really nicely. The concealer blends easily. I only apply the concealer under my eyes, which is why it looks very white and light, and the rest of my face is not. And then I set the concealer with a loose powder, but I don't set the foundation. I don't set the rest of my makeup because it is a powder foundation and it doesn't feel like I have to set them, so I didn't. It still feels really lightweight. The more I look at it, the more I like the finish of this product, and I really do like this side a lot better because I feel like if I want a more fuller coverage, I can just go with my Maybelline Superstay or Decay, all-nighter foundation, you know, to get a more fuller coverage foundation. But if I want something very quick and easy for day-to-day basis, I really like this side a lot better. It provides a pretty good, a decent amount of coverage, but the finish looks much more like skin, feels a lot more lightweight, even though both these sides feels pretty much the same. But yeah, that's my opinion right now. I will come back in maybe 6 or 8 or maybe even 10 hours. I don't know yet, but yeah, I'm going to be back in a couple of hours to give you my final thoughts. So I'm back and now it's currently 8:30. So the foundation has been on my face for more or less 9 hours, 9 hours and a half. It's been a long time. I'm so tired. I'm so ready to take off all this makeup and just go to sleep or do something else before I go to sleep. I don't know, but my lips is already gone, but I'm so tired. And let me just say, one thing I noticed after having this on my face for a long period of time is that this foundation feels very comfortable and lightweight on the skin until it reached 6 hours mark, because after 6 hours it started to feel very heavy. It started to feel really greasy and oily, and I can really tell that my skin is very oily right now. And I was right, because my face just looks like completely like a grease ball, and my face is just very oily, and I haven't found a foundation that doesn't look oily at the end of the day, even when the foundation claimed to be very oil controlling. So I kind of expected this foundation to look like this at the end of the day, but it's still like you can completely notice the difference between how it feels on the face after 5 or 6 hours. And the foundation itself, it's not budge proof, it's not transfer proof, because when I do this, like I can see the foundation everywhere it touches, and it's also not very long wearing. Not that I expect this to be very long wearing, because it doesn't claim to be that way. It's already separating and kind of disappearing in some places, and it doesn't look completely smooth. It looks very cakey in my opinion. But just around the center of my face, like my nose, this my cheek area around here, and this area, and the center of my face is the area where I get the most oily throughout the day. But around the outside perimeter of my face looks pretty good for 9 hours or 9.5 hours. It still looks quite smooth, and the foundation is not disappearing in those areas. So overall, in my opinion, for day-to-day basis, for daily uses, this foundation is pretty good, because like I said before, I really like the way it feels and the way it looks for around 5 hours. But if I want something to be completely transfer proof, long lasting, and have good coverage, obviously I won't reach for this foundation. But that doesn't mean this foundation is bad. It just means that the foundation is not supposed to use for those kind of occasions. So I like how it feels, I like how it looks. It's just not very long lasting, but like I said, it has its own purpose. And in my opinion, if you have dry skin without a lot of dry patches, maybe you can still get away with this if you use a damp sponge, or just make sure your skin is moisturized really nicely, and make sure you exfoliate your face if you have a lot of dry patches, so you won't have those weird dry patches around your skin like I did. And if you have normal skin, I think you will absolutely adore this foundation. But if you have oily skin, I just think you have to prep your skin with a mattifying primer, and then use a mattifying setting spray, or just use setting spray and spritz your face a couple of times throughout the day and blot your face. I didn't, because I want to test out the foundation, so I didn't blot my face throughout the day. I didn't do any touch up, and also maybe apply a translucent powder or a blotting powder after 2 hours or 3 hours. And I think that will kind of solve the problem a little bit. Bottom line, I really enjoy this foundation for a specific occasion. So yeah, that's my opinion, that's my review. I hope you enjoy this. I hope this can be helpful for you if you are currently looking for a review for this foundation, for this product. And if you do like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and also maybe subscribe to my channel. The subscribe button is right down below. And lastly, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope I can see you in my next video. Bye guys. It's the JCAT. Maybe we can buy a reveal. It retails for $13.99 products. What? It retails